Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Fanatical Bundle Vanquish Bundle of January 2023. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? If you want to know more about game bundles, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the channel out. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1, we have Black Book, a unique blend of turn-based game and a point-and-click adventure game. You play an orphan named Vasilisa, who is destined to become a witch. But you decide to defy that destiny and got married, and things start going very bad for you. Your husband kills himself and he gets sent to hell. As per your destiny, you become a witch, and you seek to break the seal of the Black Book in hopes of reviving your husband. This brings you on an adventure, doing quests and killing demons along the way. There are also some dialogue choices to make, which will change the outcome of the story. Combat can be challenging, especially puzzle battles where you're assigned certain deck builds to defeat your enemies. However, if you play on the easiest difficulty, you can choose to skip battles entirely. As you break the seals of the Black Book, more powerful abilities become unlocked. There are also more traditional RPG elements in this game where you level up skill trees with experience points, creating a unique blend of RPG and card battling. This game is worth a playthrough as it offers a unique look into the Slavic folklore and an interesting battle system. And number 2, we have Streets of Rogue, a chaotic roguelike game with endless player choice. You play as a newly hired mercenary whose mission is to help the Alliance in restoring the city from its corrupt state. This game is not about the story though. You can play as 26 different characters, killing targets and stealing MacGuffins from guarded buildings. Once all of your missions are finished, you take an elevator onto your next procedurally generated floor. And you keep going until you die or reach the end. Even though the world and missions are repetitive, the unique traits of each character and how they interact with the world is very unpredictable. Some of these characters are hackers who can't fight but can hack electronics. Some are cannibals who can regenerate health by literally eating corpses, while assassins can go invisible, among others. You have multiple ways to approach each mission. You're given a general goal like kill this dude, and how you go about doing it is up to you. You can simply gun him down, beat him up, program a turret to target him, or hire him as a bodyguard, lure him into an enemy ambush, and get him killed. It's entirely up to you. Missions are randomized, and each character has their own optional big quests. Completing this quest nets you a permanent ability for that class. These quests and the unique traits of each character makes picking a new class feel like playing a whole different game. Each run takes its own personality thanks to the different items you find in shops, chests, and safes, as well as the traits you pick up between levels. You can also play around with a list of custom rules called mutators. That makes it a bit like a build your own roguelike experience. You can make the game easier or harder by how you mutate the rules of the game. This game is absolutely worth playing, and once you start, it is hard to stop. It gives you a ton of freedom, a varied cast of characters, combined with the randomness of traits and mutators. 2 runs will never play the same. And number 3, we have Pathologic 2, an open-world horror adventure game. You play as Artemi Burak, and your hometown is being destroyed in front of your eyes by a deadly and mysterious illness. You have 12 days to rid this plague from your town. This game combines brutal survival mechanics and surrealist narrative themes to create an uncompromising and opaque experience. You'll spend the first few in-game days just wandering around the town, either scavenging for food in trash cans or rundown buildings, or interacting with the local strangers, and believe me, they are strange. They even talk strange. At first, you're finding for the person responsible for your father's death. While going on your little adventure, you can't help but feel uneasy and how things are just not right. Then the Sand Plague strikes, throwing the town into utter chaos. Hundreds of people get infected at a time, and if left alone, your town will be decimated. You'll be thrown into many different directions at once, tending to the infected, creating tinctures, and seeking out information on the plague's origin while racing against the clock. You'll be making a ton of difficult decisions. Do you give away your last antibiotic for a much needed meal? Should you embrace in superstition to fight against the plague? Should you cut somebody's infected kidneys in half to hopefully find a secret to the cure? This game will keep you busy, and with a time limit, you have to be quick and decisive. As the days go by, resources become scarcer, and it can be very frustrating, playing a character who is always starving and on the verge of collapse. But this bleak narrative is also what gives this game its personality. You'll most likely die along your journey looking for the cure, and the next time you come back, you play as a new Burak, and the game gets harder. You get tired faster and starve quicker. This game is atmospheric, frustrating, and absolutely haunting, with some very punishing mechanics, and it is definitely a gaming experience that you'll never forget. And number 4, we have Hellpoint, a horror sci-fi Souls-like game. Set in a distant future, a mysterious event called the Merge occurred. Dark forces invaded a nearby space station. The author sends an avatar, that's you, to find out what has happened. The story is quite mysterious and vague like in Dark Souls, and you can learn more through clues or NPC dialogue, but actually is hard to care. Combat is very similar to Dark Souls, so if you've played that, this will feel very familiar. You have your standard light and heavy attacks, together with your dodges and ranged weapons. There's also a ton of different weapons to collect from swords to railguns. Platforming plays a more prominent role with quite a few sections peppered around each level. The problem is that it lacks the polish of From Software games. Imprecise controls, floaty combat, and problems with hit detection really detract from the experience. Level design is mostly linear with branching paths and interconnected areas. Like Dark Souls, this game expects you to explore the level with little hand-holding as to where to go next. There isn't a lot of enemy variety though, so do expect yourself fighting the same old guys over and over. The bosses, yes, the highlight of every Souls-like game. The bosses are fine, with nothing unique nor interesting. You'll do the usual strafe and dodge around, finding a window to attack them. Very standard Souls-like stuff. You can level up your avatar at bonfires, breaches. You can level up your stamina, health, mana, strength, and so forth, depending on your playstyle. You will need rare items to allow teleportation between the breaches, as opposed to being able to do it from the start or by finding a key item. So you actually have to choose which breaches are most important to teleport to and fro. There's also a black hole that your ship circles around. This black hole supposedly adds some dynamic to the game, but it is so unnoticeable that you forget it is even there. Hellpoint could have been a decent Souls-like game, but the uninspired level design, boring story, and dull combat really holds it back. And number 5 we have Chasm, a Metroidvania game with procedurally generated levels. You play as a young soldier named Dalton, sent to investigate a small mining community that has fallen silent. Upon your arrival to the town of Carthus, you discover that paranormal forces have sealed the town off from the outside world. Trapped, you explore below the town to uncover the source of the disturbances. This game is a challenging Metroidvania, but it doesn't do anything that is exciting in the genre. The Chasm, the tunnels underneath the town, is filled with complex mazes and procedurally generated network of tunnels, from dusty coal mines to ancient dungeons and hidden arcane temples. The feeling of mystery is great as you descend into the secrets of the underground. Enemies start off easy with the usual rats, skeletons, and bats, but as you progress through the game, killing later enemies require patience and precision. They all have a pattern to them, so memorizing and dodging their attacks is essential. Dying in Chasm will test your patience as you'll have to reload your last save point, and this could be quite far away from where you died. Dying for the 10th time to a boss and needing to retrace your steps over and over again can be frustrating. The controls are precise and snappy, and it feels great to play. Like most Metroidvanias, you unlock new moves over time, like ledge grabbing, sliding, and double jumping to access previously inaccessible areas. With the game's procedural generation, every playthrough will feel different. However, the locations of villager NPCs that you need to save are always in a general area, but how you get there will be different. Any villager you save will become a shopkeeper that will supply you with much needed resources. All you have to do is use a cleverly designed teleport system. There's a variety of weapons that you can use: clubs, whips, swords, knives, and even some magical abilities, all with varying damage and ranges. You can also equip different armor which will provide you with different effects. There are also some light RPG elements like collecting XP to boost your health, strength, and so on. But the distribution of these boosts is also random. If you like Metroidvanias, this is actually a really good one, and I would give it a try. And number 6 we have Metronomicon, Slay the Dance Floor. A game that blends RPG and the rhythm genre. The mythical land of Versa and the lands of Karos has been plagued by magical attacks and monster raves. Humans have cowered in fear, and only the students of an Academy of Dancing Arts can stand against these partying monsters. You play as a team of 4 graduates, exploring 5 dangerous dungeons. Even though these are dungeons, you won't do any exploring. Instead, each dungeon features 10 songs you'll need to complete, with the final song being a boss battle. Finishing songs allow you to unlock new songs and challenges. This game features over 40 songs from actual indie artists. It's a solid collection of peppy electronic music to battle to. Facing off against one or more opponents, you'll be fighting for the duration of a song. Each party member has their own note chart, which is how you will attack, cast spells, and buffs. Directional arrows scroll down the chart as the song plays, and you have to hit the correct button on your D-pad or matching face button. Each character can equip up to 3 different abilities, including basic attacks, attack spells, heals, buffs, and debuffs. Each ability requires different levels of input to perform, with first level abilities being quick and easy, while third level abilities requiring the most inputs. Abilities have a cooldown period, so you can't just stick with one character. Instead, you have to go from one character to the next while keeping track of the descending directional arrows to be effective in battle. It takes some mental stamina, but is all part of the fun. After the song and battle end, your team will receive experience, currency, and potentially some equipable items. Leveling up boosts your fighter's stats and unlock new abilities, while equipping various items provide useful boosts and buffs. You can also earn workshop credits from certain battles that can be used to repair and upgrade your university to gain access to multiple team attacks to be used in battle, and a laboratory to craft better gear, among others. You can also play this in local co-op with a buddy, so that both of you can dance your way through the game. Metronomicon is a clever mix between the RPG and rhythm game mechanics. While there isn't a full RPG experience due to the lack of exploration, you do get multiple unique party members to recruit, equip, and level, and a ton of monsters to fight on the dance floor. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is actually pretty interesting with a good mix of some interesting indie games. I would actually recommend it, mainly because it is so darn cheap, and it also provides some unique experiences.